All right.
All right, we blasted off three,
Yeah,
two,
we are
one.
live.
All right. Um, so I'm in a bad mood, so I don't think anything is funny, and I think there shouldn't be any. No, I'm not. I am in a bad mood because I had sleep, but bad sleep. What else is new? So I did look at the. I thought there were pretty good selections. I got very picky
Yeah, well,
about.
let's quickly start with So this week we have Amy Kurzweil, and I'll share the
Yeah, yeah,
image,
yeah. Go
and then
ahead.
we'll get
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
Bob's.
Yeah, let's show the cartoon. What am I thinking
We'll
about?
get to Bob's
Yeah, pickiness.
pickiness after, but
It's
all
good to
right.
see behind the curtain, Bob.
Yeah, it's no different than every other.
Yes.
All right, so we have presumably one woman's house because she's in a robe and lives there in night clothes, etc. She has her closet with some clothes, a bunch of brains, talking to her friend, and presumably about the brains. They seem to be in her closet, and not I don't know how important it is, but the brains seem to still be alive, or have wires in them. Are there any other particular details?
That isn't. Well, I don't think she doesn't seem to be dressed particularly nicely. I guess one of the things I was going to say is I try to think about, as Lawrence and I have discussed, though, what is actually in this picture, and doesn't it have to be addressed?
Mhm.
that there's this woman in her bathrobe, her nightgown, and there's this other woman, and therefore, when I looked at every caption, you think, that they work generally are her brains, and we're going to talk about brains and whatever. But does it make sense for that? What is the context for this actual picture? Who are these people? Why is she dressed in a bathrobe? Okay, and so, and that the ones I picked, not all of them, because I guess what I'm saying is, for a caption contest, you give a lot of latitude. You know what I mean? Saying, okay, does it partially fit? At least, does it work just with brains in the closet? I guess it was like, Lawrence, it was like the problem with, I don't know if it was this week's New Yorker caption contest or the one before, where it's the experimenter in the maze with the rat, right?
Right.
And there are two things there, right? One is the size, right?
Right.
Like, what is the size? And the other is the experiment is in the maze. And it's hard to fit all of that together, or you have
Yes.
to try to. You have to try to fit that weird thing as, like, how did they get to be the same size?
Right.
And even if they were, why is he in the maze now?
Right.
And anyway, but let's move on. We have other people talk because I don't want to talk.
Yeah, well, Amy couldn't join us today. I think we will have a quick interview with her next week. We'll address that at the end. But I have her picks. I have all of our picks, and as usual, we didn't share any of these. We compiled them at the end. And
I'm really, before you do the big reveal, I'm really intrigued by this one because I found this difficult to choose. I didn't feel as natural as some of the other ones.
Yeah,
so I think my prediction is there's less overlap this week.
Yeah, we only had 5 this week, so this one will come down to us fighting for them. I guess I'll just start with the 5 that did overlap, and then Amy actually did highlight a couple that she wanted to fight for as well, which we'll incorporate. But here are the 5. I'm sorry about last night. I don't know who that person was. Let me slip into something a little more thoughtful. No one questions the eggs in the fridge. Tell no one about these slippers. They're not worth a damn until they've had their coffee.
So 4 of those 5 are mine.
Oh,
Only
really?
Only one of those 5 is mine.
Yeah, I don't know if mine were not well represented here. So yeah.
Oh, I like it when you're the outlier, Trevor. That lets me off the hook. This is good.
So these are them. I
thought, yeah. Anyway,
there are a ton of variations of "Let me slip into something more thoughtful," but that seems.
What were the variations there on that?
It's
let me slip into something more. I don't think there are a lot of variations.
Or it's about picking her clothes, I guess. About her. Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess why I like that is that, it's something that we generally give credit to, which is let me slip into something more thoughtful. And you know what I mean? There is the joke. It doesn't quite make sense, and you can't slip into something. It's more like, I don't even want to say it because I was going to say, let me slip something more. Well, I guess you would say, let me slip something more. I mean, this is how I get crazy about it, where I start thinking, well, she's not going to slip into something. That thoughtful thing has to go into her. But I did think that was interesting. And I don't think that there's a lot of outfit things. Like, do you have the whole list? Because you'll have the outfit, the brains behind the outfit, that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, no, and I guess one other part about this is there were a lot, and understandably, that went kind of the horror route, which
the Jeffrey Dahmer,
right,
genre
which we didn't really, none of those really we didn't really choose any of those. I did like some of those, but yeah, we did the horror.
I mean, they weren't bad, I got the brains in the family. But
yeah, there's a lot of ones about like that. Yeah.
But once again, here are these two people. One woman is dressed and ready to go. The other woman is in the bathrobe, right? So all of a sudden, so I'm just getting very picky here. If I saw this as a regular cartoon coming into the New Yorker, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would be like, okay, what's happening here? I mean, why I got the brains in the family. Who is this person? Why is this person in the bathrobe?
Well, I would.
It doesn't. Yeah.
I would defend that one actually, because I got the brains of the family was one of my top 10, and I think that she's explaining the brains in the closet. I mean, she's holding up a finger, which either means she's making a point, she's providing an explanation, or she's issuing a warning. And
Right. I can get that. So for that one, I would rather have something like, I'd love to pick your brain.
Yeah. Well, another one was, I wish I had your brains.
Yeah.
Like she'd like to add this woman's brains to her collection.
To her collection. Still, it doesn't address the fact that how they dress.
It doesn't really. Experimental.
What's that?
There's an experimental element to this, isn't it? They're not just brains; they're brains in jars with tubes attached. So it's not just that they're. You could put the brains in cardboard boxes. They don't have to be still alive.
And that's a point. And so there's a torture point here, and some of the captions do that. I can't remember it. It's like she's taking some objective system.
No. We argue, we fight, and then we go with our gut.
That's true. But I guess what I'm saying, we argue and we fight. But what I'm doing when I'm thinking about this is, at this point, because it's just more interesting to me, I'm trying to check boxes. You know what I mean? Of saying, I'm just trying to check a box, like what is a problem that has to be solved here. And so let me slip into something more thoughtful. Does take into account the fact that she's, there are other captions there like let's go before I change my mind, right? Which is a pun thing, but that's the same kind of idea that
they're on their way out, and she has to change because she's not ready to go out. Arguably, the other woman is. The other woman's. But
I think each one is, we think of a story. Okay, what is the story? What is the story for? They're not worth a damn thing until she's just gotten up. That's one thing. Also, if she's going to go out, they've got to get their coffee to go out. Anyway, let's go on. Let's hash this out and just pick all the ones Let's hash this out and just pick all the ones.
Yeah, let's see what we'll start fighting for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who? Joel, want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. So I've got a couple of, before I fight for anything, there's a couple of mentions I've got here. The first was was something that I liked, other than it was really badly worded, but I liked the idea.
Yeah.
So I think it was TV, or else they'll atrophy. Just too long. If they'd have just changed it to change the water twice daily, no direct sunlight, and absolutely no daytime TV, that's quite a good joke, or it's a better joke. But so I didn't put that on my list, but I liked it if it hadn't been so verbose. And then one sexist mention that I sort of mentioned to you guys before we kind of went live. I don't think this is funny. I just think it's funny that someone thought of it, and it's just I still can't balance my checkbook. It's just a kind of a dumb blonde joke which went out of fashion. But the ones I was going to say, the ones that I was going to fight for, possibly one of them, the macabre one that I liked was. At first, they love that I'm a brain surgeon. I thought that was the kind of the sort of murderer way into it that I quite liked.
Yeah.
And the kind of explaining the brains one that I liked was either your one, which was about the coffee, and also I expected to solve anti-gravity, but they're just interested in sports. I quite like that.
Say that. Which one was that? What was that one again?
I expected to solve anti-gravity, but they're just interested in sports. I thought that was quite nice.
Yeah, that's good. What other ones? There were a number of ones that had sort of an idea behind them that they thought, or AI, but they think there's an organic alternative AI, but it's just there's an idea there that might be good, but then the actual caption didn't work.
Bob, well, I don't know. Did any of those make it to the group? I don't know. I think
two of mine made it into the group. I had
and additionally to what's already there. No.
Oh no! I don't think I really impressed anyone with my advocation there. We can move on.
Bob, do you have any?
Well, let me see. I like the. Let me see the ones I actually like. I would go with they're not worth a damn. They're not worth a damn thing until they've had their coffee, because once again, it's got the last word thing. I do like also. Let me slip into something more thoughtful, but I wouldn't necessarily fight for that. But I want the. I mean, I thought the no one questioned the eggs in the fridge was interesting. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. That somehow there was a parallel drawn between somehow that we had these chick embryos.
Yeah, or something. I did have that one. It's kind of
I mean, it's very unusual, right? I mean, it doesn't really work for me, completely. But I don't know. They'll let me catch my browser in the lab. Is some weird thing. But I would go. I would go either for let me slip it to something a little more thoughtful, but or the coffee thing.
Oh, both of those made it, so we'll go on.
I know. I've already had my turn, but I just remembered the other one I liked was. Most of them were ethically sourced. I like the most of them. I thought that was quite cleverly done. So that was a late entry of popular for me.
Yeah.
Lawrence, do you have any here?
I disagreed with everybody. So the only one of mine that made it in was "Tell No One About These Slippers," which I thought was very good. And I thought it matched, her expression and the finger pointing, the warning. I like.
Where's the? So that's just a weird one. Tell no one about.
It's kind of a bit of a misdirection. Like she's saying you've seen something really damning, and she's warning her not to say anything about it. And naturally, you think that's the brains, and then there's the misdirection to the slippers. I like that.
I do like that one as well.
Yeah,
it's terrible. It's terrible.
It was a minus two.
It's not terrible, but we've seen this. So I will go back to what Lawrence has been saying about the caption contest in general. We see the misdirection thing, and the first time it works out, when someone's wearing, in other words, you're not addressing it at all. You know what I mean? So it's a gambit. It's a technique now that we've seen a number of times now.
That's true.
You look at something that doesn't have anything to do with it, and we cannot. Thank you very much for this. We've seen this before. We understand why you're doing it, but it's no longer a valid way to enter this contest.
I understand that, and I can go along with that. But it frees me up then to criticize your coffee one, which I also does not address the brains specifically. But
well, it does too. It absolutely does. It says they're not they. What do you think they are? The slippers? You think it's the slippers that are getting the coffee? Right. They're not worth a damn thing. Wrong.
All right, I'll take that as well.
I could see where this is going to turn into one of those sports broadcasts where we're going to be screaming at each other.
We're all talking at the same time.
All
right. I've got to get one of these in. So I'll go with having all mine knocked out. So I got the brains of the family. I wish I had your brains. Tell no one about these slippers. It's knocked out. My next one.
No, I think two people had the slippers one. I had the.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No.
I think we have to move on.
Let's move on from misdirection.
I feel like my wardrobe has too much gray. I thought was a nice reference to the brains.
So which
I feel like my wardrobe has too much gray because brains are gray.
I know.
Gray matter, yeah. It's good. It's a clever one. It's not a laugh out loud fun.
No, but it doesn't say a lot about. Yeah, it refers to it. I got no, not skeletons. Got that. My sister got the beauty. I mean, I think I got the brains in the family is a Dahmer kind of joke.
Yeah, I prefer brains over brawn. You know, that explains why she has them. I know you guys are going to hate this. I laughed out loud when I saw I do let them keep their testicles.
What? God, that's wait.
I think it's I get that one, but I think it's funny just because of the word testicles.
I don't.
Well, the idea that she takes certain organs and leaves others behind. But
the only reason to not that they're going to do them much good.
That's right.
Okay.
But then, I don't think I changed my mind a lot. I'm on the fence about, but I liked it. I thought it worked well. The one I really do like is here's where I keep my unmentionables.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly worded. It addresses the fact that she can't talk about the fact that she has brains. It's a nice play.
No. That's very good because also in the closet might be undies and things like that.
Yeah.
So it might be whatever, and so I think that's really nice because there's a really big contrast between the macabre part of this, and this kind of word, unmentionables, because the unmentionables would not be body parts or brains,
right?
Or whatever. Okay, so I think that's good.
All right,
and Trevor, I can't see the sort of the things we agreed on. Have we got any of the
Bob wants to take out the tell no one about these slippers, even though that was duped.
We should keep that. But also, do we not want to at least have one of the?
I understand Bob's objection.
But hold on. So what are you saying, Joel?
I'm just saying we haven't. The list doesn't include any brains of the family jokes, and I feel it should because that was a big part of.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. We'll go through all ours, and we'll come back to that. Lawrence, what were you saying about the tell no one about these slippers?
Bob convinced me actually that the slippers should be knocked out because I do think that it's just employing a formula that might have worked in the past, but it's been overdone now, and now it's just too easy.
Right.
Yeah, it's too easy because we see that in each contest, and we see it in each contest, that's one way to do it. And when you do it the first time, first of all, it is funny because it's misdirection, but then it's not just engaging in the contest. And so I don't think going forward that's really, it should be discouraged. It's not just engaging; it doesn't engage in the contest, and it doesn't engage in the comic solution in any way. And so that's why it's bad. It's just bad for that reason going forward.
All right, so on to
Ban,
mine.
ban, ban.
The one that I liked, I actually
And
thought would be common was my lack of closet space is horrifying.
my what?
My lack of closet space is horrifying. I guess it's kind of its own trope that they always
Yeah.
need more closet space and that it's a horror.
And it's actually, but it's just words. It's just words. It doesn't. It's like, okay, it doesn't make any sense. You're just putting the word horrifying between lack of closet space, but it doesn't actually hold together. Like, let's say something like a pun that holds together. I'm racking my brains. She is literally racking her brains. They're on
Yeah.
rack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My lack of closet space is horrifying. Is just temporarily mashing up these words in association, but then it falls apart because it's not the lack of closet space that's horrifying, or it's not like it's crap. I don't know. It doesn't work.
Oh wow, Bob is grumpy today. All right, well then we'll go on to Amy. Amy did star 3 that were her favorites. I'll read them. I've seen the best minds of my generation closeted in jars, destroyed by madness, begging hysterical to be unplugged.
That's because Amy is really smart, and she likes the reference. And when I learned it, okay, that's the Allen Ginsberg thing. That's
Yeah.
from Hal. And then you got to make everything work at the end. And by the end, you're like just
No,
figuring out stuff.
she also chose
Yeah.
let me slip into something a little more thoughtful, which is one of ours, and then the last one she starred was let me change into something a little less depressed, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, but what do you mean? She would change it to something a little bit depressed by what? Changing the brains, her
Yeah,
outfit, her
yeah, you
bathrobe?
assume that she's switching a brain that's
Well,
less depressed.
Let me. I don't know. It seems like it was a little bit confusing. I mean, there was a little bit of a gap there before it all worked. I mean, I looked at that, and so yeah. So Amy is right about the one that agrees with mine.
Well, we only have 5 here.
Well, that's it. We're not giving out the money this week.
No.
Bob,
Well,
okay.
Joel
okay,
wanted to include one that had to do what were you
The
saying?
brains in the family. There were so many of those, and it's pretty solid.
No, we do need a brain stroke. We do need.
I got the brains of the family is very straightforward and good. It's probably
very,
Yeah,
very,
I think so.
that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect.
I'm
That's
going
perfectly
to
fine.
quickly. It was so common. Let me just look through the order that brains in
I
the
think
family.
the first, by timestamp, the first entry we got of all was a brains of the family joke. I think, although I can't remember.
Yeah, I just want to just see what the variations are before I put one in there. Wow, there are 7 different variations of this. You're just jealous that I got all the brains in the family.
No.
It just be I got the
I got
brains.
the-
I know.
I
I just for the I just want to read the variations of this here, just to give us a little. I got the brains in the family. Remember, I have the brains in the family. Dad always said I had the brains in the family, which is also my second favorite. Before you judge, remember, you always said I had the brains. Listen, sister, you're the blah blah blah. And then my brother got the brains. So yes,
This is a teaching moment, Trevor. This is where the shorter is better. And
absolutely, I think that's kind of what I was getting at. That we did
Okay,
have
so-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different variations of brains in the family.
Well, as Joel said, this is a teaching moment. Sometimes the extra word does a little bit. I know when I was doing cartoons, I always usually put in a little start sometimes, but caption contest people definitely go for shorter. Like I got the
All right.
brains in the family is better, and the best caption is here's where I keep my unmentionables. We don't have to discuss anything more
No.
than that. It is the best it is the best caption. I mean, it is. It's just uh, 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 everything else. I'll say why. I'll say why I think it's the best caption from like a New Yorker cartoon magazine point of view. It's doing the least work. You know what I mean? To it, everything else feels like it is caption contesty. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know.
I do like we
I
slip into something a little more thoughtful.
I
Is
just want to take back everything I said. Because it's not the coffee talking to me; it's the lack of coffee talking. I really, so
Could
I
we get
do I think it's a good bunch. So I'm okay with what everybody really
I'll put
thinks
a
is best.
couple in there. It seems like this. To let me think. Let me slip into something more thoughtful. Kind of kept coming back around.
Could we also
Well,
talk about? I'm sorry about last night. I don't think we really discussed that one very much, and
uh,
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
yeah, what I guess it's because it's a little too clunky, right?
It's very clunky,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also what really does it mean that this
It
woman
means
was
that
present when she
no, it means that she put in a different brain in at that point, and now
oh,
she's
I
got
hate
a,
it.
yeah, now we really, she put in a different brain. So I'm sorry about last night. I mean, you have to respect, Lawrence, as I don't, other people's opinions. The
But
well,
you taught me everything I know.
no. I mean, all I will say is people picked it for a reason because they got it in some way.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's always, I mean, worth thinking. But I think
I,
you're
I, I'm
right.
just I'm
Okay,
just putting on the record.
okay. So
Let
let's
me. I'm just putting a couple on the image here, and then let's just see if maybe that can help. All right.
Should we talk amongst ourselves?
No, it's not that taking that long. All right. So here's where I keep my unmentionables.
Hilarious.
Definitely works. Yeah.
I think we should ask Amy like what the hand gesture is about.
I think
We
she's just.
haven't
It
really,
seems casual.
yeah, maybe.
Let me slip into something a little more thoughtful. This works well.
I mean, that's a good. I think it's good.
They're not
But
worth a damn until they've had their coffee.
it's a little too long. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think they're between.
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good enough to be there. But the
I think it's between these. I do like this. This one was the most common.
That fits the image best, doesn't it? Because
It
in my
does.
head, the story is that
Oh
like
no.
her friends come
well,
over. She's just got to get changed before they go out. That's the
This
picture.
one's. Yeah,
okay. Well, let's pick that one. But let's get something that because now we've fallen out of love with. She didn't know who she was last night.
Oh, we want to get rid of that one. All right. Well, that's.
We want to.
Well, we've only got a choice of 6, unless we've got to trawl through and find another one. Looks like.
All right. Let me. We're gonna get rid of. Sorry about last night. I don't know who that person was.
We'll hear from them.
Ah, we hear
Oh,
from. If we don't even mention them, we hear from them.
Wait, let's go.
I don't think that the one that
Let's pick
Joel.
the word.
I was gonna
I
say the
think
one
we
that Joel
should.
thinks is so funny. I don't think is sexist.
I could go for that one.
What's the one that I put in is that we should. Oh my God, this is the 21st century. We should not have this cartoon. You're all going for that one.
But Joel, I don't think it. I feel like if it was men, you could still say that joke, or you think it's about.
What joke is this?
I still can't balance my checkbook.
Well, let's do that just for the outrage. Let's just do that.
Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Maybe it is.
Look,
I think we should, for the next contest, we should also pick the worst one, and I think we should pick the very worst caption, and that person should also get hired.
no.
Well, that would be a perverse competition then, as for the next time.
Yeah,
but okay.
So Trevor, are we doing that one then? So the wild card entry at the last moment is I still can't balance my checkbook.
I think it's funny.
I do think it's funny too, and I think that should be the final.
I mean, ultimately, like
criterion.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's like which one is going to be the funniest. You know,
also here's the thing: it's based on a trope, and as Bob has said before, you don't have to believe the trope is accurate. You just have to be aware of it in order for the trope to work.
Actually, that does work in situ.
Of course, we do need the posture. Okay, so let's have that there, and now we've actually got to pick the winner. And
there we go.
No, let's pick the winner as the thoughtful one.
Thoughtful one.
Let me slip into something more thoughtful. Now let's look at what people voted for, and then
it is tough. This one looks like the most like a cartoon on our site. We get so into what's the most like a caption contest, and I guess the goal is to be funny, and the goal is to win. But is the goal to be like a real cartoon or not? It's so weird to think of it like that.
Well, I think it's a middle ground actually, and that we have we have our principles, but they're very flexible.
Yeah, but I think, and I said this before, I think that the best winners from the caption contest would work as regular cartoons in the New Yorker. That should always be the goal. You know, it should be a good cartoon. It should be a funny cartoon.
Well, I think let me slip into something more thoughtful. Is funny. It would work. You know what I mean? It's a little bit. One of the things is, for the most part, you don't get cartoons like this anymore in the New Yorker, where you have a very unusual element that you have to reconcile. But I think that does work, and it is like, she's in the bathrobe and she's talking to someone who's come in, and I think this is, whereas I think the Unmentionables is funny as a line. It's like it doesn't address any of this. It doesn't, as part of the story, really. It just doesn't address it. So I'm just thinking that we're imagining ourselves as judges, and we're there's a gut part of it, right? And then there are like style points. That's what I would call them. And so the gut part is probably the most important, because most things just get moved right out because they didn't work at all on that level. And then there are these style points and other criteria. And I think this makes cartoons more interesting to look at and talk about, because most of the time the only thing people say, I thought this was a funny cartoon. But you don't simply say, I thought this was a funny movie, or I thought this was, you will talk about it. When you talk about any kind of art, you actually bring in other criteria about what you like it. That's certainly the case in stand-up now, where, supposedly you got to be funny, but you're talking about, is it thoughtful? Is it just using the old stuff? There's other criteria. And so that's where I think our evaluation here is distinguished, cultured, and righteous.
In that case, then I still balance my checkbook should have won. That should have been the.
So we'll now share the voting results. Make sure no one's emails are here. All right, the number one was I've racked my brains. Number two, I'm racking my brains, submitted by two different people. I changed my mind a lot.
I had that in my top 10.
My sister got the looks. See, no skeletons. I think I can change your mind. You're just jealous that I got all the brains in the family. It's a woman's right to change her mind. Here's where I keep my unmentionables. Lawrence is very popular with the crowds today. That's kind of a dig. I don't.
Well,
Maybe I can change your mind. Honestly, most guys don't even notice they're leaving them behind. Sometimes I think he's only with me for my brains.
Well, so I think all right. All those weren't.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that. Honestly, most guys don't realize they're leaving them behind.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna we'll have to give we'll give Amy's. I do want to say that Bob and Joel and I will be interviewing Amy next week. She has a new book coming out, and she can see this and criticize us. And we'll have a quick chat with her, which will follow up with one of our emails. So I hope you're subscribed.
Did you say we were gonna? So we're gonna save Amy's.
No, we're gonna tell everyone Amy's final right now because Lawrence is gonna have it right up on Monday. But maybe on Thursday on our weekly emails.
Yeah.
Make sure you're subscribed. Joel will put a little link for our next video chat with Amy. Amy's final cartoon caption. Okay, so she had 2 that she was working with, so we can help her pick her best one. Hold on, let me change. And then she also tried, let me change into something more comfortable with my body. With my body is a little extra. Something more comfortable. This is why these are caption contests, ones that were never bought or couldn't get over the hump. But
Well, so I mean, let me change is a little subtle in a way. It's like it.
Let me change to something more comfortable.
Yeah, although that doesn't quite work for me because I don't see why putting a brain in. I mean, let me change shows I could change because I would be changing my brain, and that's actually pretty good in a way because it just I mean, if we were going to check a box, the box would be there's nothing about some of the best kinds of cartoons or captions in which there's nothing about the text and the caption that can tell you what the image is, and it only works with the image. Mm-hmm. But from that you can't tell what's in the image. So it's a combination that only works as a combination. Whereas when you start to say brains and and all of that stuff, it still is referring to the image. Anyway, so we have a winner. Do we now announce who the winner is?
Yes, we will. Let me share the winning image, and then let me look up the winner. So our winner is Andrew Wellhouse. Congratulations to Andrew.
Congratulations
to Andrew. Everyone, we have next week's contest about Joe Dater. Keep an eye out for a follow-up video chat with our artist this month, Amy. Thank you for submitting.
All right, we're done.
Cheers.